All right, welcome back, everyone. This is the first CHAS and Friends of 2024, and episode number 30 brings me along with my friend Rebecca Nicole, and all of her information is linked below. Her channel is Reading with Rebecca Nicole, and I highly, highly recommend checking it out. So do all the things, watch a video, see if you jive with her, subscribe to her channel, all that fun stuff. So I'll let Rebecca tell you a little bit more of anything she wants to share about her channel, and then you guys know the drill. We just kind of chat and hang out and see where we go.
I'm honored to be on your first chatting with friends in the new year. I have a channel called Reading with Rebecca Nicole. I mostly read fantasy. I do read a little bit outside of that, some science fiction, some historical fiction, some nonfiction. I'm still debating how much I want to include all of that on my channel because I'm not sure how many people are interested in like all of those things. But every month I do new releases, and January's was like a little bit of all of those genres, whereas February is my new release video is primarily going to be fantasy because that's like the ones that I'm aware of that are coming out, and I have so many of them. There's
Hmm.
like 30 books on that list. I'm working on that video now. It's not ready, but it'll be going up soon. And then, yeah, I just like chatting about books and sharing book recommendations and hearing what everyone loves to read.
Excellent. Well, you have an awesome channel, and sorry, I'm messaging my daughter to let the cat in.
Oh, I understand.
Um, Yeah. So, but yeah, you have an awesome channel, and I've really enjoyed all of your content, especially some of the content that you did around, uh, when the conversation was really heavy around book banning and things like that. You had some really high quality videos that you put
Mhm.
out discussing the topic about banned books and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I really appreciated that, and I mean, that conversation is still happening, but as most conversations do, it kind of dies off for a while and then comes back up. So,
It might be coming back up again soon because we're heading into like most states are going into their legislative session. And that's usually whenever we see bills talking about like how to handle books in libraries and stuff. So I've kind of had my eye out to see if there's like anything going on. So there might be more videos on that soon, but we'll see. But
mhm,
yeah, those videos, I have a playlist of all the times that I've talked about that.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's cool. And that's the thing I always like to encourage people to check out the backlog, not just the newest videos, because there's always some really great gems in there. So, and
Yeah.
especially on your channel.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
Jenny's here. Hello, Jenny. Good to see you. And Chadia, good to see you, Chadia. I can always count on them showing up on the live streams. I love it.
Nice.
They're two of my two of the people that always like to watch. Bards and Books, how's it going? What's up? Good to see you. So you are. We were kind of talking about this a little earlier. So you're a library assistant,
Mhm.
and how long have you been doing that again?
So I worked at a library previously, a different library for like 8 years. And then this library I've actually only been since the beginning of January. So I changed which library I'm working at. And I love it. I'm still like learning, I'm gonna say the particulars of this library, but I mean, I love what we do. So
That's awesome. I love it.
and it's so
And
much more than books. If I mean, some small libraries don't have very much else going on, but, like, it does really have to depend on funding and what they're able to do. But I really think, like, libraries are becoming more of community centers than just, like, books. So,
oh
I
yeah,
do want to encourage people to at least, like, find out. You might not know everything that your library has and, like, at least, find out what all your library provides.
yeah, for sure. It's yeah, I get you're right. It does depend on the city and kind of where it's situated, what services are available. But I know the the library here in Phoenix has. I mean, you can check out movies. I don't know if they do video games. I don't think they do video games, but you can check out movies and books and
Mhm.
wide variety of media content. They have special speakers that they bring in to do like seminars and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. It's definitely a community center.
Yeah,
Um,
we actually have, like, 3D printers in our library, which I think is so cool. And they
yeah,
have, like,
too,
a game cabinet that you can, like, play board games, and then sometimes the pieces go missing, and then they 3D print new pieces.
wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, maybe mine does too. I should be better about going to the library, but I used to go more before COVID,
Mhm.
and then after COVID hit, I was just like, nobody was going or doing anything, and some of the libraries were even like closed for business
Yeah.
temporarily. So I was like, well, so I mean, I do have a library card, but I use Libby and
Mhm.
Hoopla and
Well, that too. There's actually, I feel like probably most people in the book community know this, but there's a lot of people that come into the library that are not even aware that they can get ebooks or audiobooks online that they don't have to like always come in because there was someone that came in and she was like, "Oh yeah, I just read on my Kindle, so like I don't use the library." And I was like, "Well, you can get ebooks from the library." And then
right.
she was really excited about that, so I was helping her set up her Libby account so she could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. It's great to have those offerings as opposed
Hmm.
to having to go physically check out a book. I can't imagine in the era in the time of COVID if checking out ebooks was not an option. Like
Right.
that would just have been awful. So,
Yeah.
but Lady Jane is here. Hello, Lady Jane. Good to see you. Yeah, it does sound like an awesome job. I wouldn't mind being a library assistant. Yeah. Our local library also has kids' toys. Oh, interesting.
Some libraries have,
Yeah.
like, cake pans or, like, screwdrivers and stuff like that that you can check out. Mine doesn't have anything like that, but I've heard that there are, like, other libraries that do that kind of thing, particularly with, like, say, I'm gonna say, like, your Disney character style cake pan, you might only use it once, so then, like, the library will get it and you can check it out and use it. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, wow, that's nice. Yeah, a lot of things on offer there. That's pretty cool. And I mean, maybe mine does too. I still haven't been back since things kind of opened back up, but
Well, and it does have a lot to do with, like, the funding that your library has, and then, like, if they perceive it as, something the community wants. So it's
mhm,
not a bad idea if there's something you're looking for to suggest it. They might not be able to provide it, but, like, they might try if they feel like, oh, because sometimes it's just, like, getting to know, like, what is the community looking for.
right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it all depends on what the people in your area want. That makes a
Mhm.
lot of sense. Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, Jenny's saying she doesn't think they have Libby in the UK. Yeah,
Ah,
that's too bad. Maybe they have something similar. Hard to tell, but
yeah, I'm not really familiar with libraries outside the US.
yeah, yeah, me either. Yeah. Oh yeah, Chadia says the same. They have something similar, but it's yeah, that's always hard too. If it's not user friendly, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes it even less ideal to use. So do you find that you have that that your that your library has a lot of patrons, a lot of people that visit regularly and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. No, this is, a well-attended library.
Oh, that's
We have,
cool.
like, reading programs that go on all throughout the year, and then usually they have, like, some sort of either, like, kickoff party or some sort of, like, book discussion to talk about, like, the books that you read for the reading program. So, like, right now is the winter reading program, and there's, like, a bingo that you try to check off, and then you get a
Nice.
prize if you get a bingo, and then you get a prize if you get a blackout. And then there was, we had a literary society discussion recently, where people can just come, and this one was based on historical fiction, so it's come and talk about your favorite historical fiction book, so like people can get recommendations. We also have a book club. I'm not currently, like, I'm not in charge of the book club, so like I don't always read the books for the book club.
Hmm.
But that's very popular as well. And yeah, I mean, people come in to use the computers all the time too. That's something, like, a lot of libraries have computers, and then a lot of people do, like, if they don't have internet access at home, they come to the library for that. This particular library does not have like a career center, but the library I was at previously, like, they actually would help with like job application stuff. So again,
Hmm.
you never know what you might find in the library.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I had no idea. Helping with job applications, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Did yours
Yeah.
have a coffee shop?
This one does not. Library I worked at previously did, but and it was like a self-service. Like, you put the coins in and then you make or whatever. But the one currently does not. So
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I know some libraries do. Again, I don't know if mine does. This just solidifies the fact that I need to go visit my local library again soon.
no, I think it's really cool, the ones that can provide that, because it gives it more of like a cozy atmosphere.
Hmm. Yeah, it does. I'm moving to the US. They have more reading options, although saying that my new job gives me more reading time. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well that's cool. Yeah, it is nice to have a job that allows you more reading time, but that's cool. You're moving to the US, Jenny. Let me know when, and I will welcome you in virtually. That's cool. Um, so what was it? So first of all, I'd like to ask what is your main motivation for reading? Like, why do you read? And then I have a follow-up question as well.
Okay. Um, I've been reading, like, as long as I can remember. So, I guess I don't know why I got into reading because I just remember just always loving, books and stories. But I would say a main motivation for me reading now is kinda twofold. So, I find the human experience very limiting, and I want to see other perspectives, but, like, I don't j I mean, I want to see other perspectives around the world, but I also want dragons and I want to live on Mars. So, like, I want to experience, like, real world human perspectives, but also, like, fantastical stuff too. So,
I
I
like
love
that.
diving into, like, other worlds and seeing, like, how things could be.
That's very cool. And it's really great when those fantasy worlds with dragons and magic and everything else emulates like other cultures uh,
Mhm.
in the U.S. So we can kind of experience both together.
Well, and that's what, like, I really found in this last year. I've really liked the genre mashup of historical fantasy,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like that's also part of why I'm kind of like more intrigued in historical fiction again, because I'm like, I might actually really like that because I'm enjoying it mixed with fantasy. But so
Hmm.
many times whenever that happens and I read that, then I'm like, I want to go learn more about this time period that this was based on, and then I end up like doing some research on it.
Hmm. That's cool. I know that's one of the big draws of the Poppy Wars series
Hmm.
by R.F. Kuang, and I've heard that oh, what's that other book? Amina Al Sarafi
Yeah.
kind of blends along those lines a little bit as well. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I read both of those in this past year, and I absolutely love both of them.
yeah, I remember seeing your reviews of it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if the Poppy Wars series would be for me, but I probably will try it at some point. But
Okay.
um, I want to read pretty much all of Shannon Chakraborty's stuff. So
I've
I'm
only read the Amina Al-Sarafi book, but I wanna go back and read her other series that she has now.
yeah. Yeah, the Daevabad series is probably the one I'm gonna start with. I've heard the most about that, and it sounds right
Mhm.
up my alley. So
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds fun, so I don't know. I have so many books, like, I want to say, like, I'll get to that this year, but then I've said that about so many books. So,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
I
want to get to it
totally
soonish.
mhm. I can totally understand that. Try to ask, what are some of your favorite books ever?
Ah, such a hard question. I do have a video where I talk about some of my favorite books, my top 10, like, books as of, like, 6 months ago. So, um, I'm probably gonna do an updated one when I add more books. So favorite books ever. I really like Becky Chambers. Her what is the name of the series? Her Wayfarers, that's what it's called. The Wayfarers books, I really
Mhm.
like those. They're I guess they're cozy sci-fi is what people are calling them, or
Long
slice of
Way to
life
a Slow
sci-fi.
Angry Planet, right?
Yeah, Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. My favorite is actually Record of a Spaceborne Few, and that's the one I've reread the most. But I it's actually been a little bit, so I didn't reread them this past year, so I probably will be rereading them this year. I also love Robin Hobb. I've only read Farseer and Lifeship Traders,
Mhm.
so I'm wanting to continue in that series, in the realm of the Elderlings,
Mhm.
and I definitely want to continue it this year, but I'm not committing to finishing all the realm of the Elderlings this year. Trying to think of other favorites. I love Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
I we My partner and I rewatch the movies every year. Every
Oh,
winter
that's
we watch
awesome.
them. And I'm gonna say probably about twice a year, because like, whenever it's, like, fall time getting into winter, we watch them, and then, like, further into winter, we're like, "Mhm, it's cold, what do we do? Let's watch those."
Yeah.
Um, and then, I'm trying to think of, like His Majesty's Dragon, the Temeraire books.
Mhm.
Um, they're the only Naomi Novik books that I've read, and I want well, actually, that's not true. I read Uprooted and I DNF'd it. But I've heard, like, all of her books, like, she writes really differently in each series that she writes,
Hmm.
so I'm actually, like, really interested in trying more of her books. But I love the Temeraire series, and those are historical fantasy. It's Napoleonic Wars with dragons, and they actually travel around
Mhm.
throughout the series to, like, every continent. So that's really fun. So, like, what would this
Interesting.
continent look like with dragons at this time? So and, like,
Mhm.
different cultures treat dragons differently. Um, so I love those books. Yeah, and then so I have read A Game of Thrones, the first book,
Uh-huh.
and I loved it, and I want to get into all of the books. So, I mean, I could see that being a favorite series, but I haven't finished it yet. So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's my
yeah.
favorite series of all time still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's really very good. Although I do like Hobb as well. Live Ship Traders was brilliant. I'm
Mhm.
starting Tawny Man next month.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I'm very excited about that. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to jump on the bandwagon, I mean, you know,
Maybe. Maybe.
yeah, you could yeah, my friend Danielle over at Book Cars, we're going to be buddy reading it together, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind if we have a third person jump in. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I got my husband to start, because I was like, "You have to read Robin Hobb," and then he was like, "Okay, where do I start?" I'm like, "Well, you could start with Fire Seer or Life Ship Traders," and he picked up Life Ship Traders, so I'm
Yeah.
hoping he'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think either one is a good spot to start, but Live Ship Traders is the better of the two, I think.
Yeah, he 'cause, I kind of started reading A Game of Thrones because of, uh, Robin Hobb fans saying, like, "Oh, people who like these books would probably like those," and I was like, "Well,
Mhm.
no, I have to try them." Um, so then, like, that's why I got into it, and then I was, like, telling my partner about it, and then he was like, "Okay, so which books are most similar?" And I was like, "Well, Life Ship Traders is most similar, you're following, like, all these different perspectives." So,
Mhm.
I'm like, I love Farseer too, I love Fitz.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you are just following, like, his perspective, like, very closely the entire time. So it is a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And my unpopular opinion was that Fitz is kind of boring without all the other people in his life. So at the times that you're just following Fitz, it's like, okay, When's he gonna start interacting with all the other people again? But I think it'll get better once I get into Tawny Man, because then I think it's pretty much him and the Fool, from my understanding anyway,
Mhm.
uh, traveling together throughout the rest of the
Yeah.
series. Um,
And
so,
the Fool is such an interesting character.
oh yeah, the Fool's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, oh, oh no, oh no, Truddy is upset with me now. Oh no, I do like Fitz. I just don't think he's really compelling without his friends.
He's
I'm
compelling with Night
sorry.
Eyes though, right?
What's that?
He's
Well, yeah,
compelling
there
with
is
Night
Night
Eyes
Eyes,
though.
and I love Night Eyes. Yeah, yeah, I know. I do need to adjust my expectations. Yep, very true. I won't argue with that. Chadia also says that David Bot is pretty good, and Spinning Silver is 100 times better than Uprooted. So
I've heard that, and I've heard because the covers look so similar,
they
but I've
do.
heard a lot of people say, like, even if you don't like one, try the other one. So I want to.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I always have like a huge list of books that I want to get to reading.
Hmm.
And then I feel like, especially since joining BookTube, there's a lot of like the really popular books on BookTube that I've not read and
Hmm.
feel a little bit of FOMO. I want to catch up.
Oh yeah, FOMO is totally a thing on BookTube. I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been having people tell me forever that I need to read Guy Gabriel Kay, and I'm finally going to do Tigana this year. And I think you and I had talked about maybe doing Tigana together, but
Yeah, because I've not read any Guy Gabriel Kay either.
yeah. But he's always one that I kind of feel left out about. I'm like, well, yeah, I better get on the bandwagon and at least try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really I hope spoilers are okay for this. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything else, but like Live Ship Traders, apparently, uh, I know
I've
Chadi
not
read.
actually finished the last book. I'm like
Oh, okay.
halfway
Well,
through
then
the last book.
I won't say anything then. I won't say anything then, because there's some stuff that's revealed in the third book that I'm like that I did not pick up on until the person that I was buddy reading the series with clued me into, and I'm like, wait, what?
I might know what you're talking about, and I might have
Yeah.
actually had that spoiled,
So
like, before I started the books.
yeah.
So
So yeah, we shall see. But yeah, I think uh I think Robin Hobb is brilliant though. She is a just a fantastic writer, and so
yeah.
yeah, I can easily see after I've finished The Realm of the Elderlings that maybe it would at least be a strong competitor for A Song of Ice and Fire in my head, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm holding out on that until I finish it, but
Well, and I definitely see why people would compare them and be like, "Oh, if you like this series, you should read this one," because, like, they really are both, like, really character-focused stories.
they are. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
Realm of the Elderling, I feel like becomes more broad scope, like, broad in scope, where I feel like A Song of Ice and Fire, I mean, maybe it gets more broad as you go, but you're following a lot of different characters from different parts of the world, like, initially. So,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. I've only read Assassin's Apprentice. I need to read the rest. I'm about to start book 5 of Dresden. Oh yeah, yeah, Dresden is so much fun. I'm so glad that you're plugging along with it, Jenny. Hey, I forgot, have you read that one, Rebecca?
I've not read
Dresden
that
Files?
one. I've not read
It's
that
a
one.
lot of fun.
I've seen because I follow Murphy's videos, and she's been reading through the Dresden series, and she's actually kind of making me want to pick them up
Hmm.
because it seems like she's having so much fun with them. So I'm like, I want to read those too.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a really great series.
Yeah.
Um, Realm of the Elderlings is better in my opinion. Okay, Chaudia, cool. Well, I mean, I'm definitely open to changing my top series if it happens that way. So I'm glad you think it's better though. That's awesome.
I've read
And
more from the Elderling books at this point, so that's why I would definitely put it higher at this point,
okay,
but I haven't finished either series, so I feel like I need to finish them before I actually say.
right? Yeah, I get that. But Arya, yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, Arya's a great character, very compelling. I will say that um, George R. R. Martin does a brilliant job of putting you in the characters' heads.
Mhm.
The way he does his POV chapters is just I love being in a character's head, and I'm just like, oh, give me more. And I'm still,
Yeah,
and everybody is still pretty much saying at this point, give me more, but that hasn't happened yet. So,
right.
but yeah, it's good. Um, you need to read the rest of the series before you judge, Jenny. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's cool. So you mentioned that that you do like that you think you want to try more historical fiction.
Mhm.
Have you read the Warlord Chronicles by Bernard Cornwell?
I haven't.
Yeah, the Winter King, and yeah, about the Arthurian saga. It's so good, and
I
it,
feel like I feel like I've heard a fair amount about them, and I feel like that would be because there's not really magic or anything in them, right? It's more just like historical fiction, not fantasy? Or is there?
well, yes and no. So I mean, Merlin is a druid in the
Oh,
series,
that's
and so
true.
so there is the practice of magic, even though it's not really real magic. They, you know, they still they've got their
Well,
mysticism, and they've got their rituals and things like that. So,
yeah, I guess I have to remember, like, there definitely were people who believed in magic in history too. So
hmm
I guess it wouldn't be, like, out of the realm of possibility to have magic in historical fiction. So I guess my
yeah.
question was it historical fiction or fantasy?
In my opinion, I would call it historical fantasy.
Okay.
George R. R. Martin probably has more magic in A Song of Ice and Fire than Bernard Cornwell does in this series, but I would say it's fantasy for sure. But it's just more historically rooted than it is fantasy. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's great though. The characters are fantastic, and if you like audiobooks, the narrator is brilliant. I think
Nice.
it's
Nice.
Jonathan Maberly, I think, is the narrator, and he's just fantastic.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. In fact, I did not do well with the Winter King the
Mhm.
first time because I just read the book. I didn't do the audiobook with it, and it was kind of just okay for me. But then Alan over at the Library of Alexandria, he's like, no, Chad, you have to do the audiobooks. You have to. I'm like, okay. So I did the audiobooks for the other two, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I missing? This is brilliant.
That's awesome. There's definitely
Yeah,
some narrators that I do feel like elevates the series. So I'll
yeah,
definitely check that one out with the audiobooks.
hmm yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I think you know I think I think I'm thinking maybe I'm thinking Jonathan Mawberry, and he's an author that keep seeing talked about. But anyway, it's somewhere in there. The narrator will come to me. In fact, I can pull it up on my Audible right now, and I can tell you the name of the narrator because he is just fantastic. Um, let's see, Bernard Cornwell. There we go. Jonathan Keeble. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. I think I've heard samples, but I've not actually listened to a whole book that he's
Mhm.
narrated.
Yeah, Jonathan Keeble is so good. If I could get him for any book I read, I'd be good. Although, with the exception of Dresden Files, James Marsters is absolutely brilliant
Mhm.
narrating Dresden Files. So for that one, I usually recommend that people do it immersively because
Okay.
reading the book and having Spike narrate the story to you is, I don't know if you've watched Buffy, but
I
You know,
haven't.
yeah, James Marsters played one of the vampires in that show named Spike, and he does the audiobooks for Dresden,
Okay.
and there's just nobody else that can do Dresden for me now. I'm kind of
Yeah.
spoiled.
Yeah. Sometimes narrators, like, do such a good job that you're like, "This is the voice of this character now."
Yeah, for sure. Only read the first half of Winter King. No real fantasy there, just the illusion. Yeah, there's a lot more illusion in the Winter King, and then in Enemy of God is where it really starts getting into more of the mystical aspects. Yeah, a lot more ritual in the other two books. So yeah. Grave Peril Book 3. When Dresden turns up at the party, I spat out my daughter. Yeah, that was good. I know what you're talking about, Jenny. It's a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I've read some reviews on the adaptation, some of the choices they made for castings and different things, and I don't know. I don't know. I might try it out just to see what it's like, but um, most of the diehard fans of the book series really uh, hated the show. So I
Oh,
don't know. It might still be good. I'm a
yeah.
believer in trying to separate the adaptation from the book so I can enjoy both equally. But
Mhm.
yeah, my favorite Arthurian movie still to this day is Excalibur from the '80s. It's like
I
uh,
don't think I've seen that one.
I forget who was even in it really, but it's still my favorite Arthurian movie. And the let's see, First Night was actually really good too. With um, uh, oh, I can't remember his name now. I remember Sean Connery, but I don't remember the guy that played Lancelot in the movie. It'll come to me eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, both of those are really good movies. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd for Arthurian stuff. I like Arthurian stuff, and I even
I
like
don't
the Merlin not
Yeah.
the young Merlin, but there was there was a
Okay.
mini series of movies with Sam Neill playing Merlin, and that was really good as well. So
I
yeah,
I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen the young Merlin.
okay, yeah. I watched the first couple of episodes of that one, and it was okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I watched it as a teen, so that was probably like, it was targeted towards me.
Hmm.
So I liked it.
Yeah, that's cool. Still can't believe he isn't British with that accent. Oh, in the audiobooks or the no, you're probably talking about James Marsters. Yeah, he does a really good British accent uh, for Bob the Skull and well and in Buffy too. He does a really good British accent. So good stuff. Um, it's going to be Rings of Power Wheel. Yeah, I think from what I've heard, I think Rings of Power and Wheel of Time are probably better than the Winter King
Oh,
adaptation.
no.
But I don't know for sure. I haven't watched it.
That's
It's
not
on
promising.
at least in the US, you can only watch it on MGM Plus, and I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing before I saw the announcements about the series. I'm like, what's MGM Plus? But
There's too
yeah,
many streaming services now.
yeah, there are. Merlin is the best, almost. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I do want to go back and watch some more of it at some point. I just never really got into it. So, Richard Gere, thank you. Yes, Richard Gere played Lancelot in First Night. So, yeah, it's good. How is that possible? Rings of Power. Yeah, it wasn't great, but I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed parts of it at least. So, uh, but yeah, there were there was. Have you watched Rings of Power, Rebecca?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
It was entertaining, but
yeah, it
mostly
was.
I would like I was watching it with some other people, and I think that helped because, like, we would sometimes, like, be like, "What is going on?" And, like, kind of like, "What are they doing?" You know?
Right.
So it was fun to watch with, like, the people that I was watching it with, but
Hmm.
it's not necessarily, like, great TV, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I felt that. So we had a group of people over to watch the new Suicide Squad movie when it came out,
mhm,
and and the only thing that was fun about that was being able to talk crap about the movie through the whole thing, because
yeah,
otherwise I would not have watched the whole movie. Like it was just so bad.
yeah,
In my opinion, I did not like Suicide Squad, but it's things like that. Like sometimes when you're iffy on a show, having friends get together can make it a lot more fun.
yeah, yeah. I don't think it would have been, like, as fun to watch Rings of Power by myself. I think I probably would have been more mad at it, but it
Yeah,
was, like, fun to watch with people, so
that's cool. Yeah, I watched it by myself, and it wasn't horrible, but yeah, it definitely wasn't. You could tell that they only got the rights to certain things. It was
Mhm.
pretty evident that they didn't have a lot of control over what they could adapt and what they couldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah. So my other question, I know I said I had a follow-up question after why you read, but what made you make the jump to BookTube?
I, have kind of always enjoyed hanging out in bookish spaces on the internet. I was on well, I started through Goodreads. I found out about Goodreads and was like, "Oh, this is a book cataloging website," but then, you get to meet people there, and they had, like, a Goodreads groups and stuff, and that's how I found out about BookTube and Bookstagram.
Mhm.
And I actually started on Bookstagram, and I did that for, like, 5 years before I ever even started on BookTube, but I got I guess a little bit frustrated with how I felt short-lived things were on Instagram, that, like, once you post it, like, really within that first day, if people don't see it then, it's like old news, and people rarely, like, scroll back through your stuff, so, like, I felt like if I was posting a book review on Instagram, that book review, I might still agree with that book review for, like, the next couple months, but, like, no one else is gonna see it after that first day, so I was like, and I was really enjoying watching BookTube. I was watching a lot of BookTube, and I was like, "Well, I could just record my thoughts and post it on YouTube." So, that's kind of why I decided. I was like, "Well, I feel like videos are, I guess, have a longer life on YouTube," which
Mhm.
is true to an extent, but, being a creator on YouTube gives me a whole different perspective.
Mhm.
But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy making videos, so that's why I keep doing it.
Mhm.
I do feel like, probably book review videos are the ones that still get watched later, but since making videos, I do realize just some videos really are just a moment in time, and sometimes I say stuff, and then months later, I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of see differently about that now."
Mhm.
But some videos I do, like, still agree with what I said, and I think book review videos are, like, the most common ones, so I actually want to make more of those this year and just become better at reviewing books. So that's kind of my goal for 2024.
Mhm. That's cool, and that's an awesome goal. It's book reviews are tough. Some book reviews are tougher than others to make.
Yeah.
You know, so some of those books that you really just want to gush about, and you can remember everything about it because you loved it so much. And then other books, even though you loved them, it's harder to talk about them. And I don't know why that
Mhm.
is,
Yeah.
but
And I've definitely been on BookTube long enough to, start cringing at my early videos. So I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." And some of my early book reviews aren't very good at all. I'm just like, "Why did I post this?"
yeah, some of mine aren't either. Believe me. Yeah, I feel your pain there. It's cool to see the growth though out of it, to see
Mhm.
how far we've come from there.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's definitely, like, a good perspective to have on it. It's like well, and I think I try to continually improve my videos, and that's why, like I
Mhm.
say, I want to, like, continually improve my book reviews and, like, become better at reviewing. So, I think that's going to be like a natural outcome of if I improve, then I'm gonna go back and go like, oh, that wasn't good anymore, you know?
Hmm.
But like that's a good thing because I'm getting better.
Yeah, exactly. So you were on Bookstagram for 5 years. Do you feel have you noticed a lot of your audience from Bookstagram followed you over when you started your channel, or no?
No. I thought more of them would actually. There's definitely a handful of people that did follow me over, which was really nice. But I don't know. I feel like they're different platforms, and that I guess that was something else I was. I guess had different expectations than what actually happened because I
Hmm.
don't know. I thought like, oh, if I start doing this, it's like the same people, but we all like books. I'm talking about books. But I mean, I think it's really fun because then I've gotten to meet new people in the booktube sphere
Hmm.
that that maybe don't have Instagram accounts, and then I get to expand my book network and talk to people about books, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like that as well. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, it's good that some of your audience followed you over anyway. Just maybe not as much as you had hoped, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
I have a fair amount of my Bookstagram people are in my Discord though, which
Uh-huh.
is fun. I have a monthly readathon that I do, and I need to talk about it on BookTube more. I really do.
Yeah.
But it started on Instagram, and it actually just started in like the DMs on Instagram, and then it got too big for that, so I moved to Discord. And then I'm starting to get more BookTube people filtering into my Discord, which is fun because I feel like it's kind of like the meeting of the two worlds.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, definitely talk more about your readathon that you do. That would be fun to hear
Yeah.
more about what's happening with that. I've
It's
never really participated in readathons, but I like hearing about them.
yeah, I do a really laid back one. Um, so a lot of the readathons, like they sound really cool. And I enjoy participating in other people's readathons all the time. But sometimes I like pressure myself to like complete my TBR, hit all these prompts or whatever. And I just wanted to have something that was like really laid back and fun, but also just like encouraging to read more.
Mhm.
And so we have a collective page goal. And I haven't set the goal, so it's gonna be this next weekend is the readathon for January. Everyone in my Discord can vote on the dates of the monthly readathon. So next weekend is the January readathon, and I haven't set the page goal yet, but I have like a page goal. It's usually like a few thousand pages, and then everyone reads and reports the number of pages that they read, and we try to hit the page goal. So
Okay.
it's just, I say like you can join if you read 10 pages or if you read 500 pages. Like, just come and chat about books and read with us. And I do reading sprints on the Discord. So, like, a time that we all get to sit and read together over the weekend. And it's just a lot of fun to be like
Mhm.
encouraging to read, but not having the pressure of like, I have to hit these certain prompts or I have to read this many pages. So,
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah.
That's really cool. I like that.
And all forms of reading count. I have people that read textbooks and then count those pages. I have people that read graphic novels and count those pages. If you're like anything counts. So
That's nice. That's really laid back. Yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
audiobooks count. I have an
Mhm.
audiobook page calculator that you
Mhm.
can use to help you figure out. It's an estimate, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good because audiobooks are hard to track as far as page count goes. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's good. So Chadia says she gave Rings of Power 2 episodes. Silmarillion is one of my favorites ever, so I'd rather not destroy my memory of it. Yeah, I get that. And I actually went into it with the assumption that they were going to be working out of the Silmarillion, but apparently they didn't even get the rights to it. They were
Yeah.
working solely off of the appendices in Lord of the Rings. So at least that's what I my understanding. I could be wrong on that, but from what I was told, they couldn't even get the rights to the Silmarillion. So I think it might have been better if they had.
I
Um,
totally understand. Like, if a book is like your favorite or among your
mhm.
favorites, it's even harder to see that adapted. and
Mhm.
especially if it's not adapted well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like I was not worried about Sandman because I knew Neil Gaiman was actively involved in at the helm. But then I was really disappointed not too long ago when he announced that there was a planned adaptation of the Graveyard Book,
Mhm.
and he was not given any creative control over the adaptation. So I'm really worried.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think it's always better when the author is involved, in my personal opinion. But
yeah.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you, I actually haven't read any Gaiman yet,
okay.
and I think in one of your recent videos, you said The Ocean at the End of the Lane is your favorite Gaiman. Is that a good place to start with Gaiman?
I think it is. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic uh, place to start. Most of his books were standalones too. So, well, actually, all of the books that he's written so far, except Sandman, are standalones.
Okay, nice.
Um, so yeah, you could really start anywhere, but I would definitely recommend Ocean. Neverwhere is a good book to start with as well. Stardust. Have you seen the movie Stardust?
I haven't.
Okay, yeah. So Stardust is the book that the movie was based off of, and they're both really good.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, the Graveyard Book is fantastic too. So
nice.
we've just got so many bangers.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think Ocean is a good place to start.
yeah.
Um, let's see, Graveyard Book should be done like Coraline. Keep it great. Yes, I agree. Yep. Yeah, Coraline is another one of his that's really good, and the movie was based on it. And uh, so yeah, Neverwhere and Graveyard Book are my faves. Very good. Hey, I like it. I like both of those really well. So I don't know, something about Ocean just I try to calm down when I talk about it because I feel like I talk about Ocean too much. And it's kind of, so I had the this is a wild tangent, but
Oh,
I
go for
had
it.
I had a teacher uh high school for my oh, I forgot the name of the class, but English composition.
Mhm.
And my teacher is a huge fan of Emily Dickinson. So every class, you could count on at least one mention of Emily. And he never said the last name, he just said Emily. And everybody knew who he was talking about because he loved Emily Dickinson so much. And that's kind of how I am with Ocean. I'm like, every chance I get, Ocean. And then I kind of wonder if I'm, annoying people at some point. And I'm like, okay, maybe I won't mention Ocean this time.
Well, it was one of your recent videos that it finally got through that I was like, maybe I should pick up Ocean.
Yeah, yeah,
So maybe you
yeah,
should keep talking about it.
right. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Yeah, it's my most favorite book of all time. It really is. It's just something about that book. Um, let's see. I love the appendices too. Yeah. Yeah, what's done is done, unfortunately, right? Graveyard is wonderful. Oh yeah, and so Jenny's comment on that was the appendices still had everything they needed. The Tolkien estate is protecting the Silmarillion rights at all costs.
Hmm,
Yeah, and I honestly don't blame them. Yeah,
yeah.
because there's a lot of material in Silmarillion, and I think Silmarillion is one of those that they could easily get wrong. If they're not
Mhm.
paying attention, and yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I heard that, Andy Serkis is gonna record an audiobook for the Silmarillion.
oh, I thought he did already, but maybe
Oh,
he
did he
didn't.
already?
Maybe,
I haven't kept up if
but
he
yeah,
released if it was
I
released.
know he was. I thought he already did, but maybe.
I know he went through all of the Lord of the Rings books and The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he definitely did. Okay, that one's Martin Shaw. Let's see. Andy Serkis. Yep.
Oh, well,
Yep,
nice.
it's already available. In fact, oh no,
I'll
I
have
don't
to
own that one yet. I own all of the Andy Serkis versions except that one. So
I'll have to look for that now.
yeah, 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 Andy Serkis is great. I have not listened to any of them yet, but I love Andy Serkis, and um I have no doubt he's going to do just a fantastic job.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to The Fellowship, that he did, and I really
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Oh,
So,
that's great. Yeah. I've enjoyed everything I've seen him in, and so yeah, I'm very excited to try them out.
yeah.
Yeah. Um let's see. Silmarillion needs to be an anthology series like American Horror Story or Black Mirror. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, yeah, to really do it justice. Oh yeah.
I listened to the Ingalls audiobooks whenever I first, was going through Lord of the Rings, and some I wasn't immersion reading, but I would, like, go back and forth between the audiobook and the physical book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ingalls did a good job, but I really like Andy Serkis's version.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't tried any of them, so I'm probably just gonna stick to the Andy Circus versions.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm really excited for you to start your Neil Gaiman journey. When are you planning to start reading?
Hopefully in the next couple months. I don't know for sure. I feel like I'm I'm worried about overcommitting myself to, like, too many, because I have a couple of, like, read-alongs that I'm doing,
Yeah.
and it's just, like, I don't wanna overcommit myself with, like, read-alongs and other things that I want to read and whatever. Um, that's why, like, okay, so I did, the, like, You Choose My TBR for February, and
Hmm.
I like the idea of doing that every month, but I don't know if I'm actually going to, because I don't want to, like, have such a rigid reading schedule. But I definitely have some books that are on my radar that I'm like, I want to at least get to these in the next few months. So I will definitely let you know whenever I start it. I will let you
Cool.
know.
Cool. That's exciting. Yeah, let me know. And the nice thing about Ocean is it's like 180 pages, something like
Okay.
that. It's a really short one. It's more like a novella, but it's a little bit too long to be counted as a novella. So,
Uh-huh. Well,
uh,
that helps because that might mean I'll get to it sooner
yeah,
because it's less of a commitment. Right now, I'm reading like 6 books and I'm like,
yeah.
it's feeling a little overwhelming, so I want to get down to like, okay, 1 audiobook and 1 physical book. So, I need to get my currently reading down. And then once I do
Hmm.
that, I feel like I'll get more okay with like, okay, I'm reading this next. Because right now I'm
Hmm.
just like, I need to just stop reading all the books at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I totally understand. Like over commitment is a thing, especially when you're on BookTube.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of undercommitted this year because I'm trying to limit myself to only 4 books a month so that I
Mhm.
can focus on other stuff because I'm really trying to get my next book ready to release this year. But I'm about to finish my 4th book of the month today, and I'm like, well, that leaves me 10 days left in the month. Am I really not going to read another book the rest of the month?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah.
I mean, maybe you can pick up a short one. You can reread
Mhm.
Oceans.
Yeah, yeah, I can reread Ocean. I do have another book that I'm planning to, and this kind of goes along with Chadia's question right here. What are you reading at the moment, both of you, and chat? So that's a good question for everybody, yeah, in the chat as well. So what are you currently reading, Rebecca?
I my most recent book that I picked up is Tusks of Extinction, and it's a short one, which is also why I picked it up. And it is about in the future they decide to bring back the woolly mammoths, and then they're having
Hmm.
trouble with like the woolly mammoths not surviving and dying out, and they have like this elephant scientist's consciousness downloaded, and they're like consulting her about whether or not they put her consciousness in like the woolly mammoth so that way she can help them survive in the wilderness. So that's as far into the book as I've gotten.
Hmm.
Um, and then what else am I reading? I'm reading The Sunlit Ruins, which is a arc book that I have. It's kind of, I'm gonna say, similar to Percy Jackson, but it's with Mexican mythology.
Oh, okay.
So these two Mexican American teenagers are in Mexico City, and they're like visiting um, stuff there, and they get contacted by this like mysterious voice, and then they go into this pyramid and stuff. So,
Hmm.
you know, it's been a lot of fun. I think I'm about a third of the way through that one. I'm enjoying that. I'm currently reading Lonesome Dove. My partner read it and loved it, and he told me I have to read it, and I'm reading it very, very slowly. I like it when I'm actually reading it, but I just
Hmm.
don't have the draw to, like, pick it up again once I put it down.
Hmm.
So but, I mean, it's a really long book, and I'm only, like, 200 pages into, like, a 900-page book. So I'm hoping as it goes along, I'll get more into it. I'm reading, Savage Legion, which I've been reading for too long. But I'm really enjoying it, it's just I'm reading too many books, and that's why it's taking me a long time to get through it. It
Hmm.
follows 3 perspectives. It's kind of it's a fantasy, but I'm gonna say it's kind of a medieval dystopian too, because they're living in the city and, like, they're being told that, like, "Oh, this is the greatest city in the world," but there's obviously some, like, corruption going on that we're, like, starting to uncover. One of the characters works in the government, and she, is, I guess, a little naive, but starting to wake up to some of the stuff that's going on, particularly as some of the other officials are trying to push her out.
Hmm.
And then we have another character. So in this city, they're like at war right now, and they scoop up the undesirables off the street and put them at the front line of the war. And
Hmm.
one of our characters is she got in a bar fight, and they were like, "Okay, now you're gonna go and be in the front line of the war now." And then our other character was someone who was living on the streets, and she was caught the eye of this like these people who are like really innovative and are trying to like come up with new um things to make the city the best city of the world. And she so they like give her room and board and everything, but she's like, there's something more going on here. So that's the 3 characters we're following in that book. And then I'm reading The Spear Cuts Through Water, which is just beautiful. I don't know what it's about yet, but the writing is gorgeous.
That's
I mean,
one
it
I've
kind
been wanting to read.
yeah. Oh, it's really interesting because it's written in both like first, second, and third person, and it like flows back and forth between perspectives. It's really interesting, and I love the writing. It didn't take me as long to get into it as I thought it might. So,
Hmm. That's cool. Yeah, I've heard really good things about Simon Jimenez, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to picking that up at some point.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not finished it yet. I'm like maybe 20% into it, but I already would say I recommend it just because the writing is gorgeous.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, well, you're reading a lot of books.
Reading
Wow.
too many books, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, good on you for doing Lonesome Dove. Westerns really aren't my thing, and a 900-page western just really doesn't appeal to me. But yeah, that's
I don't know if I'll read another Western, but I'm gonna try to finish this one.
yeah, that's good. That's good. The only book I'm reading currently is book 4 of The Expanse, Sybil Byrne, and the writing and the character development is just so brilliant. Like I won't spoil the book, but basically the book centers around a territory dispute between uh, people who were first to land on a new planet,
Mhm.
and they've kind of set up like a makeshift colony and everything, and then there's another group that arrives at this planet after them, and they've been given a contract to to set it up and mine for different things, and so it's more or less a territory dispute between those two factions. And the main darling of this series is Jim Holden, and he's been called in to settle the dispute. And you would think something like that would be boring, but it's written in such a way that it's just so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you wouldn't think it is, but it's yeah, it's a great series. I've really enjoyed The Expanse so far, and uh, my other books this month were Shadows of Self, book two of Mistborn Era two,
Mhm.
which was excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Mistborn Era two so much better than Era one, even though Era one was good, but Era two is better, I
I feel
think.
like I haven't heard that many people say that, so
Yeah.
that's nice though.
It is an unpopular opinion. Yeah, most people don't like Era 2. I think I'm definitely in the minority, probably, but I know a few people that feel the same way, but it's not many.
Mhm.
I read American Psycho, which I'm very sorry that I read. Um,
Yeah. I
wouldn't
saw your
recommend.
review for that one.
Yeah, and then I think I'm trying to remember what else. What else did I read? Come on, Chaz, you're faltering here. Um, oh yeah, The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. That's the
Oh,
second book in her Great Cities duology, and
uh-huh.
that duology is so good. If you get a chance to read it, it's really really good. The City We
Yeah.
Became and The World We Made, just absolutely brilliant. So,
Yeah, I haven't read any of her books, but I want to.
oh yeah, if you don't mind second person stuff or shifting perspectives, um, you should definitely try out the Broken Earth trilogy. It's so good.
Well, it's working in A Spear Cuts Through Water, so I'm more open to it now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It can be a little jarring at first, but
Yeah.
yeah, if it's working for you, and yeah, definitely give that series a shot. And there's a purpose behind it too.
Mhm.
When you get to the end of the series, you find out why it was there were so many shifting perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually played a critical role in the series, and it was so good. Um, so since I have all the extra time, I'm probably going to pick up Endymion this month because I've been wanting to get back to the Hyperion cantos.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
And
don't recognize that name.
oh, okay. Have
But
you heard of
Hyperion, I
Dan
know what you're
Simmons?
talking about now.
Have you heard of Dan Simmons?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Hyperion and Fall of Hyperion were absolutely amazing. That's my second favorite sci-fi of all time, and I'm excited to try out Endymion. I've been wanting to get to it for a while, but yeah. So that'll be what I pick up next, probably.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard a lot of people say the Expanse books go by really quickly. And then I saw, because my library has at least most of the Expanse books. They're so big though.
Hmm. They are quick reads though.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like they are. Of course, I could be biased because I started with the show
Mhm.
and then went to the books, and so it made I already kind of had preconceived notions of what the characters looked like in my head, so maybe that helped. I don't
Yeah.
know, but yeah, it reads really quick, and it gets a lot of comparisons to Game of Thrones, just Game of Thrones in space, and it kind of is that.
Okay. I mean,
So
that sounds fun.
yeah, yeah, it's a very palatable space opera
Uh-huh.
for sure. Yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, got a few comments here. Okay, yeah. Jenny's just finishing her reread of House in the Cerulean Sea, or she has finished it, and hoping to read King Chronicles 2 and Harry Potter 3 and have the next couple days off. Okay.
Nice.
Very cool. That's awesome, Jenny. Um, yeah, I love House in the Cerulean Sea. It's such a great book. And the sequel is coming out in September, and I'm like so excited. Because he doesn't normally do sequels. Have you read
Oh,
any TJ Klune books?
I DNF'd House on the Cerulean Sea.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
But
That's okay.
I mean, I might give it a try later. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I rarely put books down and be like, I'm never gonna pick this back up again, it's usually, well, I'm not really in the mood for this. I'll try it again later. So
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's not for everybody. Now, I say that, but some people who are on this stream might be thinking you DNF'd House on the Cerulean Sea. How could you,
I know.
Rebecca?
I know. Well, and particularly like I've enjoyed cozy fantasy before, so I feel like
Yeah,
it should be something that works for me.
yeah, exactly. Okay, Jenny doesn't really reread or mood read. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, you
I'm
really do
I'm
plow through
impressed.
books. That's good.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Uh, Chadi is a fan of The Spear Cuts Through Water. Very good. Yeah, yeah, I do need to pick it up. I know there was a buddy read going on for it on um
The Unexpected Party Discord.
yeah, The Unexpected
Uh-huh.
Party. That's right. Yeah.
I'm a
And
little behind, but I'm
yeah,
participating.
that's good. That's good. I wanted to participate, but I already kind of had my plans set for the month, so
Yeah.
um okay, Chadia's a big mood reader. Yep, same here, Chadia. Me too. uh it's as strange as DNFing. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, some people just really like structured reading, and that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, my thing is I don't need to know how stories end. I just
that's good. That's rare, actually.
yeah.
That's good.
I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but,
Hmm.
I like beginnings so much better than endings, and I feel like series rarely, stick the landing.
Mm,
So, and it's probably why I have such a bad habit, like, I'll read the first book or so in a series and then just, like, take forever to get around to the last one, and
hmm.
it's probably because it's been, like, so many times I'm disappointed by endings.
Mm,
But, like, I want to be someone who finishes series.
yeah. Well, that's good. At least you're striving to be like that. That's
Yeah.
good. That's progress, I think. Chadi is reading Claude the Conciliator, book two of the Book of the New Sun. Yep. Valor by Gwyn, A Morbid Taste for Bones. Ooh, I haven't heard that one, but that's a cool title. And The Never Ending Story. Okay, I still have not read The Never Ending Story. I've seen the movie like way too many times as a kid, but I've never read the book. So, have you read any Gene Wolfe, Rebecca?
I haven't.
Yeah. The I read Shadow and Claw, the first two books in the Book of the New Sun, and was not a fan, but a lot of people love it.
Yeah, it's definitely a name I hear a lot on BookTube.
Yeah. In fact, it's funny. I just got a guy that commented on my review for it, and my review for it was like over a year ago. But I just got a new comment the other day, and he's like, "No, no, you have to read the rest of the series because it's it's not four books. It's actually one long series." I'm like, "Yeah, I know that, but I don't have to read it. Thank you,
Yeah.
though."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
"Oh, you didn't like it? Just try again."
right? Yeah, you get those really passionate fans. They're like, "Oh no, but you didn't read it right, or you didn't stick with it, or whatever." And it's like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, DNFing is just putting the book down when you're not enjoying it. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that
Mhm.
very true. Can always there's a couple of books that I DNF that I've thought about maybe picking up again in the future, like Perdido Street Station by China Mieville. I was it didn't work for me, but I'm thinking I might try that one again at some point. So there's always
Yeah.
the possibility with any book you DNF, I guess.
Yeah, I've that's been one that's on my radar that I want to try.
Hmm.
I think I might start with Embassy Town though, because I think that sounds like more of my thing, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. Is that one of his?
I think it is.
Embassy Town. I don't know all of his books though, so I may not have heard of it, but okay. That's cool. The only one I do want to read another one of his books, and that's The City in the City.
Uh-huh. I've heard
Um,
of that one.
yeah, I've heard that one's good, but of course I heard Perdido was good too, and I
I've
didn't
heard
really like it
a
very
lot of
much.
people say to start with Perdido. So,
Mhm.
That's why I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I love Jemison, but I have a really hard time with the city books. Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody is going to love every one of her books. I get that. I can respect it. What was it that you had a hard time with in the city books, Chadia? Uh, yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. Put it down, pick it up when you feel more curious. I didn't like the show, Chaz. That's why I have a harder time picking up the books. Oh, The Expanse, I'm guessing is what you're talking about, Chadia. Okay. I didn't like the show at first. Like, I watched the first few episodes of it, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then 2 years later, I started it again and just plowed through it. I'm like, this is so good. So I guess it's one of those that you can be in the mood for one time when you weren't in the mood for it before. I don't know.
I've heard the show gets better after season 1. Like,
It
apparently,
does.
some people, like, don't really care for season 1, but then like the rest of it.
Yeah. I
I don't know,
really
I've
like
not seen
season
it.
one, but I do think it gets way better in the future seasons. Yeah. Um, Holden was so annoying. Okay, yeah, yeah. I can understand that. His character is a bit to get used to for me as well. Afraid to tell Chaz. Oh, about uh which book was that? Sorry. Oh, House in the
Probably House
Cerulean
on the
City.
Cerulean
Yeah,
Sea. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't never fear. I'll be okay. I'll get my tissue box after the episode's over, and we'll be good. No, yeah. It's I can everybody's different and has different tastes, and some tastes are acquired over time too. So
Yeah, I'm
trying
okay
not to
with
type angrily, Jenny. That's funny. Sorry. Go ahead,
I mean,
Rebecca.
it can make me a little sad whenever I really love a book and someone else doesn't like it, but, like, at the end of the day, I do realize that not every book's for everyone.
Yeah. 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 Here it comes. How could you not love Lucy and Chauncey? How far did you get in Cerulean Sea?
Um, he was sent to the house on the cover of the book,
Uh-huh.
and I think he, like, just showed up, and that's when I stopped.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So you didn't really get a chance to meet uh any of the orphans.
Yeah, I might have met, like, a couple of them, but we not
Hmm.
enough to, like, really get to know all of them.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So yeah, maybe give it another shot at some point and see if you get further because I mean if you want to, you don't have to
Yeah.
obviously. But if you ever get an itch to try it again, give into it because yeah, you
Yeah.
might enjoy it the second time around. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucy's my. It's hard for me to pick between Lucy and Chauncey. Which one I love more, Jenny? I think I still land on Lucy, but Chauncey is awesome. Yeah, just so good. Beware of never-ending story. The Artex. Oh, really? Oh boy, I hadn't heard that. And have you seen the movie, Rebecca?
No, I
Never-ending
haven't.
story. Yeah. Yeah, there's a very tragic scene in it that she's referring to. I
Oh.
won't spoil it, but yeah, yeah. Okay, you might DNF Book of the New Sun. Okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe I'm not alone there. A lot of people do love it though.
Yeah.
What do you feel, Rebecca, is a series that you're like really passionate about that some people really like have strong unpopular opinions about?
That's a good question. I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
You keep going through comments, I have to think about that one.
Okay. I know you really love Temeraire, and uh,
Tamara is one of them.
yeah, a lot of people love
Most people
Temeraire, and
don't
I didn't.
most people don't hate it, but they're, like, lukewarm on it, and I
Yeah.
love it. I would say I've seen some, unpopular opinions for, Record of a Spaceborne Few in particular. Most people like the first book,
Okay.
but are like lukewarm or don't like the sequels. So I love Record of a Spaceborne Few. That's
Okay.
my favorite of the Wayfarers.
Right.
And sometimes I saw some like negative reviews on Goodreads, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stop reading reviews because I don't want to know. Oh, I know. People have really the Poppy War is super polarizing.
Hmm.
The Poppy War is super polarizing, and some people love it and some people hate it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it always hurts a little bit. So this was not on my channel, so it's fine. It's not one of my viewers, but I've seen some people say that they won't follow reviewers who like the Poppy War because they can't trust that, like, they will review books well. And
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
I know. I was like, "Dang, okay." But at the same time, if that's a book you really don't like, it makes sense to find someone who, like, agrees with your or has more similar taste. So I'm like,
Hmm.
"Okay, it's just, that's we're not the people that have similar tastes. That's cool." You know?
Right. Yeah. That does seem like a pretty extreme, like, to avoid somebody that likes it. But yeah, yeah, maybe your tastes just aren't aligned. So that's true.
Yeah.
I
I mean
know I know a lot of people it comes down to Ren. They either
mhm.
love Ren or they hate Ren, and and apparently she's the one that really makes or breaks since she's the main character, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I understand that.
mhm.
I don't think there's a single book that I'd be like, "Oh, I can't trust this reviewer's opinion anymore," because pretty much everyone I follow, even like people that I have similar taste to, there's always like some book that we don't align on. So I don't have like, oh, this is the one that like breaks it. I can't take their recommendation seriously. But I don't know. If
Mhm.
it's working for that person, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um Perdido was special, but that's a good way to put it. It was special. Yeah, it was just a little bit too special for me at the time, but it's yeah. I'll probably try it again. And you're reading The City in the City next month. Very cool. Well, I'll have to keep an ear out for what you think of it, Chadia. Um, okay. Oh, so here's a good recommendation, Rebecca. She says you can start with Embassy Town.
Okay,
So
nice. I'll
so it sounds
probably
like
do
that's
that
a
then.
that's a good place to start with Mievo. Yeah, that's great. That's good to know. Maybe I'll start there as well eventually and see what I think. But uh, I already own Perdido on my Kindle, so if I go back to one, I should probably go back to that one and finish it. But we'll see. Um, I can't justify starting a new series, but everyone gushes about all these new books that I want to read. Yep,
Yeah.
it it's a problem. It
Yeah.
really is. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely worse being involved in like the book community because then I just want to read all of the books.
Hmm.
It's,
Is there a particular genre of fantasy or science fiction that you really don't like?
I don't think I've come across uh, a subgenre of them that I won't at least give a chance.
Hmm.
Um, I don't read a lot of romantasy. I might dip my toes in occasionally, but it's not a primary thing that I read.
Hmm.
I do find, I feel like Bookstagram leans more towards the romantasy side, and
Okay.
BookTube, like, not really. And I do find there are some books that are maybe, like, on the edge where they are fantasy, but they also have, like, a decent romance subplot, and some
Okay. Yeah.
people will categorize it as romantasy, and some people are like, "No, that's not really romantasy." So, I mean, those are the ones that I'm more likely to enjoy. They're,
Hmm.
like, a straddle the line between, the subgenres. Um, but other than that, like, I'm willing to try anything. So I do find it interesting there are some books that are, like, really popular on Bookstagram that are not at all popular on BookTube, and I think, at least the people that I watch, like, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi was, like, super duper popular on Bookstagram, and everyone was reading it and loving it, and then BookTube, I was seeing people pick it up and being, like, really lukewarm on it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite a divergence between the two then.
Mhm.
So do you feel like Amina Al-Sarafi is more romanticy then, or yeah,
No.
no, not at all. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Um, there's not really our main character, in Amina Al-Sarafi is older. She already has a daughter, and the husband's not in the picture. Um, she might have a brush with one of her previous flames later in the book, but it's not really like a rekindling of that relationship. It's kind of just adds more conflict to the story. So there's not really like
Hmm.
romance going on. I would say it's one of those stories though that probably straddles the line more between adult and young adult, and I feel like,
Hmm.
those stories tend to be much more popular on Bookstagram than they are on BookTube.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's cool. That I don't really do. I tried Bookstagram for a little bit, and then I deleted my Instagram account. It wasn't for me. Um, but the people that I followed in there, I didn't see a lot of romanticy. So that's interesting. I know Fourth Wing is really popular right now,
Mhm. Though
and
that one's all over all the book spaces.
yeah, it is. Uh, and I've had a bunch of people tell me I should read it, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I've not read it. I don't
Yeah.
think I would like it.
Yeah.
So and I don't want to, read a book that I don't think that I would like. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm the
even if it's
same.
really popular, I'm just like, that's fine." I'm happy for the people who love it.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Life is too short to read books don't you wouldn't like, right? Or you don't
yeah,
think you would like. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So many other books to read. Yeah.
And, like,
Uh,
seriously, there's nothing wrong with enjoying romantasy, okay? Like, I'm
right.
really
Oh,
happy for
yeah,
the people who love it.
absolutely.
If that's all you like reading, that is great. It's
Hmm.
just, like, it's not really my thing. But I
Yeah.
guess, like, I will dip my toes into, like, books that, are, like, somewhat romantic, but I
Hmm.
don't read, like that's not the subgenre that I gravitate towards, so
Yeah. Yeah. Same. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I have a lot of friends who love romanticy, and I'm like, yep,
yeah,
cool. I mean, it's obviously out there for a reason. A lot of people love it. So
yeah.
yeah, and it does really well. It's a very popular genre, especially urban romantasy seems to be very
Mhm.
very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that was popular for, like, way longer than, like, the current wave of romantasy.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Urban fantasy is my favorite palate cleanser. Yeah, they're all really similar. That's true. They are. And Dresden is definitely urban fantasy, but I don't know. It feels different than a lot of the stuff that I've seen out there. So
It sounds more like a detective story than like
it
a
is. Yeah.
romance. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like is an unpopular opinion on BookTube is there's excellent stories in all age categories,
Hmm.
and BookTube doesn't really read middle grade.
Right.
So,
True.
I mean, most of what I read is adult, but
Hmm.
there's good YA books and there's good middle grade books, and I love
Oh,
reading those as
absolutely.
well. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Like Scythe was my favorite book of 2023,
mhm.
and that's YA, and I love the Percy Jackson series, and if you like middle grade, The Thief of Always by Clive Barker is really good. Um,
Okay. I think
so
I think I've heard of that. author, but I haven't read it, so I'll have
Mm.
to check that out.
It's really good. It's a fun read, and there's cats. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll recommend any book with cats. So I was trying to find payback fuel. Huh. The oh because oh yeah. So my apparently my payback fuel to you not liking Cerulean Sea was not me not liking Timber. Yeah, I didn't. I DNF'd His Majesty's Dragon. Um, I'm just not really into certain periods of history in general.
Mhm.
Like most of American history bores the living daylights out of me, and um, Napoleon really isn't my thing either. So I don't know. I think
Yeah.
what did it. I like the fact that it had dragons. It was just kind of a weird mashup for me that I just didn't like, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
tried getting my partner into Temeraire, and he did not like it. So, unfortunately,
yeah,
that one didn't work out.
yeah. Yeah, that's all right. I'm sure you have other books that you guys really like to enjoy together. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
Does he read a lot of fantasy as well?
He reads some fantasy. He reads
Yeah.
a lot more nonfiction. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Very
he
cool.
he enjoys fantasy, and I will try to like always get him to try to read some of the stuff I enjoy, and he tries to get me to read stuff he enjoys. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's fun because we try to push each other outside of what we would typically read.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good to do. Yeah, that's everybody needs to branch out a little bit. So that's good. So have you found a lot of your nonfiction reads from stuff that he's read, or
Some of them. I typically DNF nonfiction he gives me though. So I mean, I do the same thing back to him. We're like, this isn't working. I don't care.
yeah,
He had
I'm
a
like that with
nonfiction
most
book.
nonfiction.
He had a nonfiction book that was super long. The audiobook was like 20 hours, and it was all about like water rights in the United States.
Oh,
I know. And he was like, "This is so interesting." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
yeah, yeah, that definitely would not be for me.
His favorite book of the year, I think, was called Coyote America, which is
Huh,
about like coyotes in the United States. And I was
interesting.
just like, "No, I'm not reading it."
Yeah, well, that's cool that he likes that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I tried to
But
get him to read The Poppy War, he didn't like it.
yeah,
So, yeah, but we have other stuff we like. We both he we end up watching more like shows together than reading books together. But I
uh-huh.
mean, he's also really big into Lord of the Rings, and then we're actually rewatching the Game of Thrones series right now.
Nice. Very cool. Hey, have you watched House of the Dragon?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yeah,
I've
me
actually
too.
I liked House of the Dragon, but I feel like there was some pacing issues with like the massive time skips they had.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping like it settles in season 2, but I still really enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think we're probably getting to a point in the story where it's finally gonna settle in and be more less time skips because I think next season we're pretty much just going to be following like the main core of characters, Damon and
mhm,
Rhaenyra and stuff. So yeah, I just finished Fire and Blood, uh, I think in November,
nice.
and so I'm all geared up for season two.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wait.
I haven't read Fire and Blood yet, and I'm debating whether I try to read it before season 2 comes out or
Yeah,
not.
I get that. And it is more of a history book, but
Mhm.
he writes it in a way. At least for me, it's one of the best history books I've ever read. Like it flows so well. It's got his signature style and everything, and
Yeah.
um, but it's also written in such a way where if you wanted to skip to the part in the book that House of the Dragon actually covers, you could. Like you could
Okay.
skip the first like 40% of the book, skip right to the right to that part in the story.
Okay.
And then you could
Oh,
always go back and read the other stuff before it, but they're really only covering um, the part with Damon and everything. That really only takes place about close close to about the 40% mark in Fire and Blood. So
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's good stuff though. It's well worth it. Well, that's cool that you guys watch more shows like that together. And
Yeah. We both read The Three Body Problem, and then we are
ooh,
trying to get through the Chinese production of
uh-huh,
the show before the Netflix one comes out.
nice.
So, and we're both
So
enjoying that.
where do you watch the Chinese production? Because I had wanted to watch it.
You can watch it for free with ads. Let me look
Is
at
it
what
on?
the site was called.
Is it Tubi or Tubi or?
That might be it.
Because I do have Tubi if it is.
I'm trying to remember. It's Viki. It's Viki.
What is it again?
It's Viki. I
Oh,
say
okay.
a Viki.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Is it on Roku or anything? Do you know? Or
I don't know.
okay, I'll have to check into it because I
Yeah,
really wanted to see. I saw the trailer for the Netflix version, and one thing that really bugged me is their cast is not all Asian,
it
and
looks so
the
different.
book is, so it just kind of has a different feel.
It
But
the trailer also made it look like an action movie,
yeah, that's true. That's
and I
true.
was
It
like,
did.
it's really not.
Hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
it really isn't. I love the first book. I haven't read The Dark Forest or Death's End yet, but I
I
want
haven't either.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I want because I've heard they're even better than the
Mhm.
first book. So
Yeah, I've heard that. Someone, commented in one of the Discords that I'm in that, the first book is mind-blowing, and then the next 2 redefine mind-blowing. I'm like, "Okay."
yeah, that's high praise. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Oh, Bad as Rat is here. Hello, hello. Uh, thank you. Appreciate it. Um, Jenny commented here more booktubers need to do the reading 1-star reviews of my faves. Murphy and Elliot always find the funniest ones. Yes, they do. That's true. Um, I've been trying to figure out a way to do that as well. Uh, so I should probably do that. I'm scared of going into Neil Gaiman books, but I'll probably
Yeah.
have to for that.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I would do, like, what Murphy did last time where she was trying to find people that had, like, really petty reasons.
but that sorry.
I think the last time Murphy did that video, she was trying to find people who had, like, really petty reasons, like, not necessarily, like, this well thought out review, but just, like, "I didn't like this character's name." You know?
Yeah, that's true, and that does make it a lot more funny. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's very true. So this was funny. Bad was asking how she's doing, and fine till Nicole and Chadi admitting Dan Heffinghouse in the Cerulean Sea. Oh, that's funny. You're not gonna live that down.
Probably not. That's fine.
uh, Make sure to hit the like button on these fabulous people. Yes, yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Uh, can't stay for very long, but wanted to say hi. Hi, Erin. Good to see you. If you haven't checked out her channel, she's really and I think you and Erin would have a lot in common as far as some of your reads.
Okay.
She's a big fan of um, Becky Chambers and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, you'd
Yeah, I'll
probably
definitely do that.
yeah check out her channel. Um, yeah, so I'm. Oh yeah, Dad says nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Oh yeah, the Sabriel series. Yeah, that's where she gets her name. I think it's Garth Nix. Is that right? Is the author of Sabriel? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
need to read those.
yeah, I've heard it's a good series. I've never said. Um, what about dark fantasy historical romance? What are your thoughts on that?
I would give it a try. I don't know if I've really read. Um, I don't know my feelings on dark romances because I've read a fair amount of Beauty and the Beast retellings, and some of them I did not get along with. Because some of them lean into the dark elements of Beauty and the Beast. So I don't know, but I mean, I would be willing to give it a try. So, Sea of Ruin, I can look it up and see if it sounds interesting.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm willing to try a lot of genres and subgenres.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Same. Like I'm not really into romantasy either, but I did read a self-published book that's kind of romantasy with pirates and
Mhm.
fairies and stuff like that, and it was good.
Yeah,
And so I picked up the second book, and I'm going to be reading that soon. So, but it's yeah, not a genre I gravitate to, but sometimes
yeah.
it just works.
Yeah,
So,
here so in that dark fantasy historical, I would be fine with reading all of that. It's if it's the dark romance. So if there's romance in it, that's also fine. But if it's a dark
mhm,
romance, I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, I get it. Um, oh, didn't like pirates and David Bod. Okay. Well, that tells me that I would probably definitely like it because I love pirates. So I don't know much about David Bod, but I've heard good things. So
Oh, I think the Pirates is in Amina Al Sarafi because that's a
okay.
pirate story.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, I haven't
Oh
read
yes,
David
you
Bob.
love David Bod, but pirate. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I needed to read it better. Oh yeah. Bookstagram versus BookTube versus Book Talk seem to have wildly different tastes. Yeah, it does seem that way. Have you done Book Talk at all, Rebecca?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Um, I struggle with the fact that Instagram has reels. I'm just like, I was on Instagram before there were even stories. I like stories actually. But like Reels is just like copying TikTok. And I'm like, I'm not a short form video person. So like I don't yeah, I haven't made the jump to TikTok or book talk and I don't plan to at this point. Maybe in the future, but not right now.
Yeah, yeah, same here. It's not really my thing either. I've seen some funny stuff on TikTok, but I haven't really checked into the book version of it yet. And
Yeah.
so, um, but yeah, a lot of my friends share like just TikTok with me in general and stuff. It's like, okay, all right, well that's cool. And a lot of people repurpose their TikTok videos on BookTube and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, or
Yeah,
on
because
YouTube in
YouTube
general.
has shorts now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I've noticed a few shorts on your channel. Have you? How have you found those to work for you? Do you enjoy doing them?
No. The shorts on my channel are repurposed Instagram stories.
Okay.
So, because sometimes I'll get on Instagram stories and like talk about what I'm currently reading, or
Mhm.
you talk about something that's going on. So one of my shorts was also about like libraries and book challenges and whatever. And then one of them was Poppy War, and then I had one where I was announcing the readathon. So I just was like, well, I'm gonna put these on my stories anyways, so I'll just like put them on YouTube Shorts. But I don't really have like a strong desire outside of that to be like, I'm gonna make short form video content. So that's not really what I'm interested in. Whenever I get on YouTube, like I don't really watch shorts. I watch the long form content because I like
Mhm.
the deep dives into the things. So yeah, that's if I feel inspired, maybe I'll post a short, but otherwise I'm mostly focusing on my long form content.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, same here. I've come up with some ideas for shorts, but I haven't really done much with it.
Yeah.
I do like that you can like take clips from your YouTube videos and make it into a short.
Yeah.
So that's probably something I might try and do more of. But
Mhm.
ooh, okay. Aaron's going to be reading. It is reading Thunderhead right now. Cool. So I'm starting that next month. That's the second book in
Nice.
the Scythe trilogy, and yeah, the first book blew me away. So I'm definitely excited to continue. I know I mentioned it earlier. Have you read that series,
I
Rebecca?
haven't, but I want to.
Yeah.
I think I commented on your review. Like, I really
Mhm.
liked what you talked about the world building. It sounded really interesting.
Yes, I remember
So,
that now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Well, yeah, I hope you get to it and enjoy it because yeah, I wasn't sure. I'd kind of been on the fence for a long time, and then I finally decided to go ahead and do it. And I'm sorry I waited so long. Um, and I recently got on I had some Pango bucks left over on Pango books, so I only had to pay like $1.80 in shipping
Oh,
to,
nice.
to get the trilogy, and
Uh-huh.
it's kind of a weird size though. It's like a cross between trade paperback and mass market. It's kind of like in between, so it's
Huh.
kind of a I don't know. It's a weird size, but it's fine. I only paid $1.80. I can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, let's see. Ari is sitting right there, making him admit that cats are great. Oh yeah, I wish Ari was in here. Unfortunately, yeah, she's not with me today. But yeah, yep. But yeah, she does. Ari does have control of my mind though, so Uh, so yeah, she really is making me admit that cats are great. So
It's the cat mind control.
right. Oh, and it keeps on going on. Divorces have happened for less. Probably referencing your DNFing of house
We're
number
we're both
6.
we're both good about it. I mean, sometimes we pretend to be upset, but it's like we're fine.
Yeah, right. Fire and Blood is so good. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think you'd really enjoy it if you get a chance to read it.
Yeah.
So
I just don't know if I want to, like, try to continue reading the A Song of Ice and Fire books first, or if I wanna, like, jump to Fire and Blood since the show's coming out, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could go either way. There are references to people in the history of Westeros that you will find in the A Song of Ice and Fire books
Mhm.
that do uh, pop up a little bit in Fire and Blood, but for the most part, they're completely separate. So you could stop and go enjoy Fire and Blood and be just fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, A Song of Ice and Fire isn't going anywhere, and it's not ending anytime soon, apparently. So
True.
and I guess he's eventually going to have a second history book. Fire and Blood is part one of two, apparently.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so eventually we'll get a second one of those, but hopefully he at least finishes Winds of Winter before he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good question here. Have there been any bad adaptations that you actually liked? I actually enjoyed the Percy Jackson films despite the odd choices they made. That's a good question. What do you think, Rebecca?
I don't hate the Hobbit films as much as everyone else does. I they're not it's not a good adaptation by
Hmm.
any means, but they're fun. I've also seen because people have, taken the Hobbit films and, like, clipped them and made, like, their own movie online that you can find, and so I watched one that was called the Tolkien Edit. So it took out a lot of the stuff that was added to the Hobbit series, and
Yeah.
that was really fun to watch.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah. It was around, I think they took, I don't remember how long the runtime of all the Hobbit movies are, but it was around like 3.5 hours of like the edited version.
Hmm.
And like it didn't have a lot of like the extra stuff, and it just like mostly kept to like Bilbo's story as we saw it in The Hobbit. So,
That's really cool. I think I might have to check that out because, like, I did enjoy the Hobbit movies. I like you. I
mhm,
think they were as bad as a lot of people thought they were, even though you're right, it wasn't a good adaptation.
yeah.
Although I will say they nailed Smaug.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
mean
yeah.
that
And I
that was
think
perfect.
I think that's why I still ended up liking them, because there are characters. I think Bilbo was great. I think Martin Freeman made a great Bilbo.
I think so
Um,
too.
I love um, Bard in the movies. I know he didn't have a well, we didn't know him having a family in the books and all of that. Like they definitely expand on the characters. But I thought he was great. I love getting to see all the dwarves and all, like, the eccentricities that they
Hmm.
have and, like, the individualness that they have, and I it was fun.
Hmm.
But, like, I mean, there are some things that irritate me in the movies, but not enough to hate the movies.
Yeah, 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 you make a good point. Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings was closer to the books,
Mhm.
but yeah, the Hobbit movies were fun and entertaining, but I think I would probably enjoy the Tolkien edit better. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's impressive because that would be a challenge to edit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's
Yeah.
actually different ones. I know there was one called the Bilbo edit, because apparently even the Tolkien edit did include some like side character stuff, and someone was trying to make it. They're like, the books you see through Bilbo's eyes, so we should only know stuff that Bilbo knows. So they like
Mm,
edited the movie like that. And I haven't seen that one, but like I know I've heard there's like multiple versions of like the edited Hobbit movies out there that you can watch.
interesting. Wow. I'm surprised the Tolkien estate hasn't pulled them all down.
I guess it's because people aren't making money off of them.
Mhm,
Because I think there is, I'm gonna say there's a super fine line between like, because people can write fan fiction and stuff. So
mhm,
like maybe it's basically considered fan fiction, but like you also have to be careful if you're not just like putting out something that's copyrighted. So
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Chaudia says Bard made those movies better.
yeah,
And Legolas didn't need to be there.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, the casting was great. Yeah, like you said, and Jenny agrees. But yeah, some of it was just didn't need to be there, and that's okay. It's an adaptation, and
yeah.
um,
I mean, whenever I heard that they were bringing Orlando Bloom back, I was actually like kind of okay with it, but I wasn't a huge fan of like where they took his story in the movie.
mhm.
Because like yeah, he would be someone that would be alive during this time. So like if he was like a cameo character, we saw him in the background, but we didn't like turn it into like a whole love story or whatever. Like that's the part that I didn't care for.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, I'm usually pretty good with adaptations for the most part. Like, because you're never going to be able to get everything correct, but I know a lot of people have kind of been down on the Wheel of Time adaptation, and I, I've only read the first two books, so I can't really talk, but I enjoyed the adaptation just fine for the most part, and uh, I've kind of DNF'd this, or at least soft DNF'd the series at this point. So I'll probably just enjoy the show and let that be it. Um,
Hmm.
Foundation is another one that a lot of people will talk about because it's very different from the books that it's very different from Asimov's books, but Asimov's books don't give a lot of detail. A
Hmm.
lot of so the adaptation has more or less just inferred a lot of stuff, and I think it's a good adaptation.
I really like the movie
It's definitely a
Arrival.
fun series.
I really like the movie
Oh, I
Arrival, and it's based off of a short story. And I saw the
mhm,
movie first, not realizing it was based off of anything, and then I read, that, short story collection, and
mhm.
I like the movie better. But the short story collection, like, I still like it, but they do change a lot of things in the movie.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't seen Arrival actually, so I'll have to check that. It's been on my list to see. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the adaptations that I hear people talk about the most in terms of hate for it is the original Dune adaptation uh,
Mhm.
by David Lynch, and it's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it, it's a terrible adaptation, but
Uh-huh.
it was still a really fun movie. Like I liked it, but a lot of hardcore Dune fans don't like it because it was such a far cry from the book, and it is. But
Mm, mhm.
I happen to like it. It was my first introduction to Dune. I hadn't read the book at the time I saw it,
Yeah.
so but I thought it was fine.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that helps if you either aren't familiar with or aren't a huge fan of the source material. It kind of helps to like separate it. And particularly that if you saw it first and you liked it, and then because I liked the Arrival, it's actually the short story is called Stories of Your Life. So
Okay.
I saw Arrival first and I loved it. And then I went and read the story and was like, this is quite different. And it's like it's good in its own right, but it's like not the same thing. So
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, if you've already experienced it one way before reading the book or whatever, it's more palatable,
mhm.
I guess. And yeah, but yeah, Jenny makes a good point here. All adaptations are fanfic. That's true, I think. Um, yeah, we'll have to change some things. Yeah, some things just can't be adapted
Yeah.
very well. Yeah. Um, yeah, the Martian was a very close adaptation to the book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess another adaptation I like that's kind of different from the book is the Shadow and Bone series
Hmm.
that they just canceled, which is
I
sad.
know I was so upset because that's one of my favorite series on Netflix.
Yeah. I liked how they tied in the characters from, like, the 2 stories.
Yeah.
So, I was enjoying it.
I've only read Six of Crows so far,
Mhm.
and I thought they nailed Kaz. Like Kaz was the one, like if they can nail him, they've done a good job because and I thought he was just perfectly cast and well realized, and then they canceled the show. I'm like,
I know.
no, you
I
can't
know.
do that. Come on,
And it's just when we were getting to the ice court plotline.
right? I know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, I would have loved to have seen that adapted, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll get picked up by another studio. I don't know,
Maybe.
but we can hope.
Yeah.
I know Lee Bardugo was not happy about it, but
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fans loved the adaptation. I know there was, like, some that weren't happy because they did particularly in the 2nd season, they made book 1 or book 2 and 3 of the Grishaverse trilogy, they, like,
Mhm.
crammed those storylines, so they were definitely, like, rushing things and skipping over things. So I know, like, some people weren't happy about that, but I think overall they did a good job with it, and, I liked some of the changes.
Mhm.
So I still like the books. The books are
Mhm.
fun, but, yeah, I'm really sad they canceled it 'cause everyone loved the cast too. They were
Yeah.
like, "These are the perfect actors."
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was very, very well cast, and I was just, yeah, I was so bummed. Um, So Chadia liked the original Dune movie as well, and yeah, the worms were amazing in that movie. For the technology they had at the time, especially to to do such a good job of adapting the worms was quite impressive.
Mhm.
Have you read Dune, Rebecca?
I started it and I didn't finish it, and I wanna get back to it.
Yeah, that's
It
cool.
technically, I DNF'd it, but it's one that, like, I definitely want to try again because
That's
that was
cool.
years ago, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
I wanna give it a
Yeah,
try.
yeah, that can happen. You know, your taste change. Like I, um, after I read Dune for the first time, I went right into Dune Messiah,
Mhm.
and I DNF'd Dune Messiah at the time, and that was over a decade ago. And then recently, I read Dune Messiah and absolutely loved it. It was just as good as Dune for me. So
Nice.
yeah, our tastes change, and so
Yeah.
um, and I'm very excited because Denis Villeneuve wants to adapt Dune Messiah as well, and I'm like,
Oh,
yes,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, apparently he's going to do Rendezvous with Rama first by is that wait, is that Arthur C. Clarke? Or maybe that's Asimov as well. I can't
I
remember
don't
which
know.
one it is. But but yeah. The only thing I'm a little weird about in Dune Part 2 is I don't know how I feel about what they're doing with Fade Rotha. I think it's going to be definitely probably a more book accurate portrayal of Fade Rotha, but I I guess maybe I don't know if I like Austin Butler enough to. I don't know as I picture him in that role, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. I'm weird with Austin Butler. The first thing I ever saw him in was the Shannara Chronicles,
Mhm.
and I did not like that series.
I think I
So
watched a couple episodes, and that was it.
yeah, yeah. So Austin Butler, I don't. I'll definitely give him a shot because I love what Denis Villeneuve has done with the story, but I really wanted I really wanted Cameron Monaghan for Fade Rotha, and they
Mhm.
didn't, and I don't think he was even on their radar to play Fade. So I'm like,
Ah,
okay. But yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan of Cameron Monaghan. So what do you do?
yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, I know we're getting to the 2 hour mark here. So I thought I'd give, so we'll kind of start wrapping things up, and I thought I'd give you a chance to talk about some of the stuff you've got coming up on the channel, and give people a chance to ask any other questions they want to, and we'll kind of wrap this up. So, what have you got coming up for us?
It's I feel like I've
And if
talked
you
about
don't have anything planned, that's fine too.
I feel like I've talked about some of it already. I want to, be making more book reviews throughout 2024.
Mhm.
I wanna aim for, like, 1 a month because 'cause I'm probably not gonna review every single book that I read on the channel, but I want to
Yeah.
review the ones that either I like or are chosen on the You Choose My TBR. So,
Mhm.
I plan on doing that. So if a book gets chosen, it's looking like Justice of Kings. I didn't specify in the video, but I'm gonna have those for like 7 days. You can vote on them. So it's been like 4 or 5 days. So there's a couple more days if you want to go. Watch that video. It's the most recent one on my channel and vote for it. But it's looking like
Mhm.
Justice of Kings is winning for now. So I'll be reading that in February and then I will be doing a review for that one. And then just any other books that I really like that I want to talk about or I want to share my feelings on, even if it's not something I like, but it's something I feel like I want to share my feelings on, then I'll do a review for that. And I want to be doing the You Choose My TBRs throughout the year. And I might try to do some collabs, but none of that's set in stone yet. So,
Mhm.
and if every
Okay.
month I have the upcoming releases. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of those, and I did enjoy your video to pick your TBR. It was so weird because I was like going through because I was on your channel to get some of your links and everything to post in the description below the video, which, by the way, everybody, her links from the description of the video. Um, but I was going through to get those, and I noticed on your video feed that you had made that video, and I'm like, that was 4 days ago. I didn't even get the notification. So I finally watched it last night, but it was 4 days old. I'm like, I don't know how I missed it, but there's so
Yeah.
many videos that pop up on my feed. I guess it just didn't pop up, but
I see Chadia saying that she won't be voting for Justice of Kings. You can vote twice, by voting in the comments of that video and voting on the community tab, and then your vote counts twice. So,
nice. Did not know that. That's a good thing to know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So she won't pick Justice of Kings. I take it Chadia did not like Justice of Kings. I've heard mostly good things, but I've heard some. I've heard a few people that just didn't really like it. It's sitting on my bookshelf. I got it through a through one of those traveling book boxes.
Mhm.
So eventually I'll probably get to it because it's in my I have that thing I'm doing now, the Stein of Power. So if I draw it out of the Stein, I'll be reading it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So I'm curious what her pick was. It was just okay. Okay. So so what was your pick off of her TBR? Or maybe you haven't watched it yet, but yeah. But I'd be curious. I'll be curious to find out what you end up reading
Mhm.
for your TBR. That's cool.
Yeah. I'll definitely be
Um,
talking about it on the channel.
yeah,
Jenny
definitely.
chooses Black Tongue
Ooh,
Thief.
Black Tongue, yeah, Black Tongue Thief. Yeah,
That
I've
sounds
heard a
a lot
lot
of
of
fun.
things about that.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I've heard that one's really good. Yeah, and apparently the next book in that series is coming out soon. So I saw
Yeah.
somebody talk about. I think it was on Patrick Leo's channel.
Yeah, I think he's read it already. Maybe?
Oh,
Or
did
was
he
it
get an
someone else?
advance
It might have been
copy?
someone else. I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
saw a review for it.
yeah.
Maybe he was just reviewing, because I think there might be a special edition. I don't remember.
Okay. Nice.
'Cause I know
Yeah,
I know he definitely keeps up with, like, the stuff going on in the fantasy world a lot better than I do.
he does, and he's had some really unique opportunities too. Like
Mhm.
he's a creative advisor for the special editions on Malazan through Broken Binding, I think it is, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's quite the opportunity.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy for him. That's pretty. He's a great guy. So yeah,
Mhm.
uh, and he loves books. So he's a good person to have as a creative advisor.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she hasn't watched it yet. All right, cool. So anything else you wanted to share with us before we close out?
I think we've pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. This has been really awesome. I'm really glad I could get you on. I'm honored to have you as my first guest of the year, and yeah, I hopefully you get a lot of people tuning into your channel, get some new subscribers out of this because you definitely have some really awesome content that people should be seeing. So
Oh, thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. And okay, all right, cool. Yeah, she just saw your community post. Good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks for checking out Rebecca's channel. I hope you all have an amazing day and read more books. Talk to you soon.